meeting in order. Kelly, if you'll take roll call.
Peter Boyer, Mayor.
Present.
Stephen Clark, Council.
Present.
Tyler Martin, Council.
Present.
Tim Ficken, Council.
Present.
Dan Sabrowski, Council.
Present. Everyone rise from the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. But they're not supposed to be.
I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of April 1st, 2025. So second. Motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Entertain a motion to approve the payables list for April 15th, 2025.
Move to Steve.
Second. Motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I entertain a motion to approve the financial reports, balance sheet, detailed income and statement, and trial balance for the period ending March 2025.
So moved. Second.
Motion and second. Did you get that, Cal?
I did.
Yeah. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, that takes us right into Advanced, Casper, and Radiant. Are they here?
We're coming.
Oh, okay, I see you.
Casper.
Yes,
I can stall.
I didn't see you walk in, so.
Mr. Mayor, Council, Justin Farley, I'm with Advanced Casper. I can stand that. I would say from the standpoint of the agenda and Radiant, Advanced Casper's position on this and where we are playing along is that it's our goal and my board's goal to get as much of Natrona County's money back from the state to do significant improvements on the infrastructure that would go through Barnum to the north of West Winds Road, where the proposed property and manufacturing facility would be.
What are they planning on doing? Such as infrastructure wise?
So it would be running infrastructure through the new portions that would be closer to I-25 going north, and then connecting it with the business park that runs along parallel to West Winds. And that would be the first stage. So we would develop out all of the property that is in Barnum. And then the goal is to have it on a milestone basis. So we'll only do certain improvements until such time as Radiant gets their reactor approved from the Idaho National Labs. We won't invest any money until said time. And then when that occurs, we go under West Winds and then run that additional infrastructure to their project site.
Okay, and you're talking water, sewer, electrical. everything?
Yes, all the above. And the conduit, most likely for fiber and
Okay.
while you're at it type of conversation.
Right.
Well, including asphalt, including gutter and sidewalks, to 25 million seems like an awful lot for the amount of development going on. Well,
Yeah.
if you broke down concisely in the application, how the 25 million is broken out.
So, Mr. Mayor, council member, thank you for that question. That $25 million number was set by the business council. It was not set by Radiant or Advanced Casper. And it's important to point out that it's an up to.
So, let me interrupt you. So,
Sure.
I had breakfast with one business council and Josh the other day. When I asked him the very same question, he said it's up to the applicant. So we're getting like circle here.
Well,
Trying
so
to get to how we arrive at 25 million.
and so our position, Advanced Casper's position, is that again trying to get some of our own money and trying to find money back to do these improvements. But I'm not going to look in the eye of the council and say that make something up to make that $25 million number match. So when it was presented to us, it was up to $25 million. And so what we've come up with is this, as I alluded to earlier, is that as Radiant makes progress, then it's a tiered ask, right? So if the improvements that we do in Bar None are $6 to $8 million, that gets done, and then when they meet their milestones, then we get additional dollars to perhaps pave that road, or donate that property to the county, and then run those utilities.
Myself, I guess the frustrating part over the years has been taxpayer money going to develop. It's not directly to their developing the roads and the streets with taxpayer money. I honestly, and like I told Josh, I think we need to change the direction. If we want to invite business into our state, we need to do a regulation on a power grid and quit throwing taxpayer money at developments. That's private industry. Private business should be developing. And the role of the government should never be involved in that. We're picking winners and losers, and it's not fair to the public or the taxpayer, in my opinion.
Well, and Mr. Mayor and Council Member, I couldn't agree more. This is the game book that we have as a community and as a county in order to access some of those tax dollars that were paid for by Natrona County, to bring it back to us as opposed to it sitting in shiny, right? So if you would like to go down and have a state conversation about how our municipalities and our communities can keep more of our money, I will drive. But we are just working on what they have given us, and this is the protocol.
We need to change our priority. We have a water or sewer treatment plant down there that's in severe disrepair. But we overlook that and then go do the shiny object that's a little more sexier and build a big commercial development park. And I'm telling you, these corporations aren't coming in here when we have a failing sewer plant, but nobody wants to look at that. So I'm just saying, we need to consider changing our priorities, how we spend our tax dollars.
Did they approach the landowner to see if he'd be willing to help develop it? Minus the tax money? Right.
Mr. Mayor, Council Member. Yeah, most certainly, and the property owner is more than willing to make contributions of property to Bar None, both, and to the county, as part of the match that the state requires. Again, do it just playing by their playbook. We didn't invent it. And so, yeah, that would be, that's the goal, is that everybody participates in this, including Bar None. Advanced Gas will stand with Bar None and make a monetary contribution that would match anything that we need to get to that. Again, their criteria. And that was a long-winded. Yes, the property owner is more than willing
Is
to
the
participate.
property that they're looking to develop that Radiant is welcome? By the way, he just got here. Is it the property that is contacting West Winds? Because I know there is two separate small lots that accompany West Winds that are in Bar None town limits. And then that big multi-100-acre parcel is on the other side of those small ones that technically is not in our city. Are they looking to purchase all of that property and develop that all as one? Or are those the lots that potentially the landowner's talking about donating that property to Bar None that they're wanting to develop? Do we know?
Council Member, the latter of that. Like that.
Okay,
Those
so
would be
he's
the
willing to put
property.
that into our area boundaries.
Yes.
Okay.
And so, and not to speak on Radiant's behalf, but part of their site planning, and due to the manufacturing and the nature of that manufacturing, there could be a security issue as far as who owns that road. Is it a public road? Can you have that access? And so those are all things that we're working through, which is also why we're focused on milestones before we go ask for the $25 million that's been thrown around.
That's more like a line of credit. You take use what's needed. Okay.
And we're trying to structure that in the grant application as like, hey, if the first priority is obviously improving the properties in bar none to get it to that property boundary. And that is just, the bar none would be the benefactor of that as far as opening up additional commercial space, additional housing opportunities. And then again, after Radiant meets their milestones, then we go under the road and continue up.
And the property owner would be open to rezoning and everything. It's in
Yes.
addition to developing all that. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you.
I think your man arrived.
Thank goodness. In the nick of time. All right. Any other questions, Mr. Mayor, Council?
No, thank you, Justin.
Okay.
You wanna
Sure.
take your turn?
Yes.
You want to turn it? Just kidding.
Apologies for being 10 minutes late. That's been all day for me today, so apologies.
You gotta state your name for the record.
Matt Wilson, representative of Radiant Industries.
Right on, man. So infrastructure, huh?
So we're here talking.
For me, to continue on with my questioning of the previous gentleman, because there are people in this room, there's gonna be people from all over the county and the state, a lot of, because it's back to this idea of taxpayer money to develop private land.
Yeah.
It is a frustrating notion.
Sure.
That lobbying is gonna ratchet up. Would you pull out of this deal if that pressure got to be too great?
So I want to make this incredibly clear. Radiant is planning on coming to this community just north of Bar None, regardless of what happens with this grant. So it is not a Radiant grant. It is Advanced Casper applying for a grant, and Radiant is a benefactor. I will call that out. But we will come here regardless.
Well, the difference is if I bought the land, Kevin, you buy the land, Advanced Casper's going to be.
Right.
This is the picking winners and
So-
losers in the private sector.
So we are Radiant's a city council member and mayor. Radiant is a catalyst for this application. So if, let's say the application does not go through, Radiant will pull our own utilities, pull electrical, water, et cetera. We will pull exactly what we need. We're a private entity. We will do what makes the most sense for our business. Now, we think there's a lot of economic opportunity north of Bar None. And so why Radiant is involved in this application is we think it's actually in Bar None's best interest if we oversize the utilities. So that's not just meant for Radiant's manufacturing operations, future operations, but it also unlocks other economic opportunities outside of Radiant. It is publicly owned utility we will be tapping into. We'll pay our own utilities as part of the piece of that. But it's a clear path for not just Radiant inside here, but for other opportunities.
Well, see, and that's how the private sector works. If I go develop that raw land, I work with the engineers,
Correct.
with the town, or the county, develop a plan.
Correct.
And we negotiate future development off of what you're trying to develop. And so, again, the private sector deals with that just fine. Free market, just, so, anyway.
Yep. Cool. Where exactly is this infrastructure you're looking at? Where is it going to be running at? What's it like location wise?
So we're working. I'll talk about electrical utilities for a second. We've applied through Rocky Mountain Power and helped them understand our specific needs. Like Radiant's looking at over a 10-year period, our applications for 7 megawatts. But again, we look at not just what Radiant needs as part of this broader application, but what makes the most sense for the initial utility pole for the Bar None area for the next 10 years, as an example. But so they need to come back. I can tell you where I think it'll come. I think it'll come from the nearest substation, but I need Rocky Mountain Power to come back to us to reconfirm, okay, here's the exact plan of how we're going to pull the utilities, the exact routing they're going to use. So that is not in Radiant's purview. We submit an application to work alongside them and help them understand our needs. And they tell us how much it's going to cost to pull the utilities to our area. So.
Okay, cool. Any questions?
Has anybody asked you, Ray? Has anybody asked you or inquired with you about the development of that property that they're speaking of in conjunction of developing that land and then getting the water and sewer and everything to the land they're talking about developing?
Not yet.
Okay. Because he's our engineer for Bar None. So if they're in conjunction with talking to Rocky Mountain Power, it'd be good to see how that's going to be planned to impact our town and our community as far as like our water supply and our lift stations and water and sewer and everything as well. So
Councilmember, Mayor, that makes a lot of sense to me. We've been partnering with Advanced Casper, who has also been doing their own budgeting work. So they have their own contact we've started with. That doesn't mean that should be the only person involved. And so if there needs to be another set of eyes or another budgetary element, where Radiant, through the STAR process, Radiant's
it's the beginning.
our goal is to have the utilities in place to be able to build and manufacture what we'd like to manufacture, where we'd like to do it in a cost-effective manner. But our end goal is the faster we can bring our product to market, that is Radiant's number one priority. So.
Mr. Mayor, can I ask a question? Sure. What public safety agencies have you spoken to so far?
Mayor, fire chief. So today by myself, I met with the Natrona County Police Department, specifically the sheriff, as well as the Natrona County Fire Department. I've also met with the Casper Fire Department as well as the Casper Police Department. So specifically left out yourself. So you are on.
I would like to meet with you actually because I have some serious concerns and that's our immediate response area. So I'd like to definitely have a conversation.
100%. You are on my short list of next calls. 100%. I was told that Natrona County. I started with Natrona County since they have, like, you obviously will be supporting, but they will have a role in this as well. And so that was re-emphasized to me today that I need to get in contact with specifically the Bar None Fire Department. And so that's what I can say is that was re-emphasized to me today. You are on my short list.
Excellent.
And we'll have to have a conversation.
Thank you.
Cool. Any other questions, comments, concerns from council? No? Okay. Well, you are free to go for now, sir.
Mayor, if I may, I can share just a quick comment on Radiant's plans for summer.
Sure. Yeah.
So regardless of this infrastructure / Wyoming business grant, Radiant does have a letter of intent on land just north of Bar None in Natrona County, just north of Westlands, 130 acres that we're looking to finalize over the next couple months. I emphasized this at the last city or town hall. We'll have additional town halls, but it's been very intentional that we haven't finalized the land deal because we want to just continue to educate and be a part of the conversation and help folks understand what we're trying to accomplish here. So I'll just continue to emphasize that Radiant's trying to make ourselves as available as possible. I have tried to meet with a lot of people. Obviously, I haven't met with everyone that I would like to. It's on. There's a lot of work to do. So I'd just like to emphasize that we are doing as much outreach as we can, but I'm raising my hand to say I'm more than happy to have direct communication with anyone on the city council as well as community members that want to learn more. So I'll leave you with that.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Gotta follow that.
Okay. Mr. Holscher, you have the floor.
So, Mayor, Council, you have my report. I don't really have anything to add to it unless there's some questions.
One page, I'm disappointed.
I know, it really short.
It's kind of boring.
Well,
Concerning the
I'll make up for it next time.
concerning the former fire chief, is there no other word other than the email that was sent out about arraignment?
Not really. I mean, I know they've set the trial. I think I mentioned the date. They've indicated they'll keep me posted on any discussions they have about disposition of that, which I imagine there would be. for the board. I mean,
Any other comments, questions, concerns for Pat? No? All right, Pat, that was pretty easy. Don't worry. I'm sure we'll figure something out.
Raise up next.
Ray,
Mr. Mayor,
any way that man.
in an effort to beat Pat in our ongoing feud of longest and shortest, I have no report for you this evening. Not much happening. Tech investigation done on Friday on McMurray. Haven't got any results back on that yet. And still waiting to hear back from playground folks for Antelope Park. So we're still just kind of waiting, but I do anticipate next meeting being a much more robust engineering.
Fantastic.
So again, the competition.
Well, it's the
The
first of the
challenge.
month, and those are our long meetings, so that
Right.
makes sense.
gauntlet is laid down.
That's right.
Did refresh my memory because it has been a crazy 2 weeks. The ditches running along Salt Creek. Did we talk about that?
To do concrete.
We talked about that in March. I've had some conversations with landowners.
We did.
They're receptive to listening to ideas, and those ideas could be anything from potential improvements to acquiring the property. They're interested in the discussion. So that can continue. They didn't slam the door in my face.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Right on.
And so that work, again, we'll just have to eat that elephant one bite at a time, I think.
Right on. Well, thank you for your incredibly brief report. Anything for Ray? All right. Well, that was easy.
I got a
We'll
quick,
come back to you.
lied.
super fast question.
We almost made it, right?
As you're pulling out of the parking lot at the end here, the little lot that's got the piles of dirt on it,
Yes,
is that part of our property for the town hall?
it is.
Okay, thank you.
My question, Pat texted me and told me to add some time to your report, but no. Is everything still on schedule though for the park? And if so, I can't remember, when is it supposed to be done and reopened,
So
all the new stuff?
the last we heard was last week of April. They would be here. Last conversation we had with them, that was still the case. I have no reason to think that that's not the case. And they plan to spend about a week getting everything installed. So last week of April, first part of May, we should see that complete.
Great. Okay. Thank you, Ray. Anyone else? Going once, going twice, sold. Sorry.
Mayor, Council, you guys have my written report.
Yeah, floor.
I'm here to answer any questions if you'd like. The only thing I might add is we are having interviews April 23rd again, because I have 3 to 4 more applicants that we need to screen. And I would appreciate 2 council members on that interview panel.
What is that?
April 23rd, I think it's Wednesday, right?
Mhm.
Can you put those on our calendar
I can.
so that it's just there and if we can go?
What time are those?
Starts at 6 p.m.
6.
Thank you, Cal.
I may or may not be able to be there, or is anyone else
David,
going to be available? What date, Chief?
23rd.
23rd, yeah.
May 23rd?
Oh, no, sorry, April 23rd.
April 23rd. Yeah.
In Austin this year.
Okay, I'll try to make it. I can't make any promises. It
I mean,
depends
if
on how we're
if not, I'm
working.
good with just having the fire department personnel do the interview process, but if somebody can make it, I would really appreciate it.
No, I understand, and I appreciate you wanting to keep us in the loop on all that, having us involved. Cool. Any questions for Sunny? This is a lot shorter than your first
I
report.
know it's the shortest
Less than
report
page
we've
up.
ever seen.
I know, it's half a page.
Saving paper.
I checked the back actually to make sure there was nothing back that I was missing, so.
Dustin's is even a page.
Awesome. All right. Well, Dustin, you have a floor, sir.
Mr. Mayor, Council, you have my report. I don't have anything to add, so I can answer questions.
I didn't see anything that jumped out at me that I needed to ask. So the back trailer did go.
Yes. Mills did come and pick it up.
We have a title still.
Those are weird. The question I was just gonna ask you just literally slipped right out of my brain. Maybe I'll come back to it. Anything for Dustin?
Is it supposed to be a bunch of snow this week?
The last forecast I saw was Thursday, 2 to 4 inches. Really, I don't know if that's changed or not.
26.
26 now?
It's 2025, dude. We should get a phone.
I just value friendship and, I was wanting our town to see just how well equipped he is. He's ready.
Indeed. I remember. No, how's the AMI work? You know, I want to keep. I'm trying to keep a pulse on that.
It's working well. Continue to learn how to use it, of
Right.
course, the more I use it. But it's really nice. You can get almost instant. Well, when you first log on, you have a dashboard with a chart that gives you all the alarms that have been logged. Every meter can be audited pretty much real time.
That's cool.
And so, yeah, if there's an error with the register and reading, we see it and we can go out and check it out.
Has it saved anybody any money yet? Have we saved
I
anybody?
think so.
Yeah.
We get a report delivered daily for consumption. So like really high consumption numbers we see each day.
Finding
So-
the leaky meters is what's super important.
Mhm.
Yeah, there have been.
And,
notified
yeah, well-
several customers of a continuous flow with a leak, and they're able to find it. and repair it.
Mhm.
Awesome. Cool. Anything else for Dustin? You see head shaking left to right, so no. Ms. Warden?
Good evening, Council Mayor. Easter egg celebration was a lot of fun on Sunday. The kids had a really good time. I want to thank Jan from my committee, Tyler, Dustin, Outcomer Church for all their help. And a huge crew helping me out behind the scenes with that. So it was a good time. Arbor Day's coming up. That's planned, ready to go. And then Town Cleanup Day. I have some questions about materials, where everybody meets. I haven't done that one with you guys yet.
Dustin is your man for materials. The town usually provides at least some limited resources. We encourage people to bring their own gloves.
Okay.
But we do have some gloves, I think, and we do have trash bags.
We have trash bags, and we can position the dump trailer for everyone to throw the trash bags into.
Oh, vests. There you go. Thank you.
Yep.
So vests and
Yeah, we have some vests.
so location. Are you talking about where to meet and where to pick up at? Is that what? Because what we usually do is depending on how many people we have show up to help clean up, we usually do Salt Creek because that fence loves to catch all the trash as it blows west or east. So that's usually where we go. I don't see a reason not to do it this
Yeah,
year.
we usually meet up at West Winds at the very end, and that works, and then work our way down.
Yeah.
I'll bring a small trailer on my vehicle too. And I
So
just see who we have show up. Yeah, Ray does bring them.
I couldn't hear you say that again.
So has everybody meet at Westwood on Salt Creek?
That's where we've been doing it
Yeah,
almost
Then
every
like
year.
a 9 o'clock
No.
morning start?
yeah. What's right? I was thinking. Yes,
Yeah.
9 o'clock. Yes, Salt Creek, Westwood. You said Westwoods. I heard McMurray for some weird reason.
We can meet there too. Not as fun.
So yeah, Salt Creek, Westwoods, 9 o'clock. Encourage everyone to bring their own gloves. I think we do have some, but not a lot. Correct me if I'm wrong.
On gloves,
Yeah.
yes, we have some.
Okay.
I don't
So,
have an
but
exact count.
people need to bring their own. Because we don't have enough for everyone, and I don't think we want to bring enough trash with their hands. And
We're almost always short on
what's the
vests.
day? I forgot the day.
May 10th.
May 10th. Okay. Let me write it down in my book.
How much are those vests, Dustin? Just those cheap orange vests? Because that's what we always seem to be really short on.
I don't have a price
Okay.
off the top of my head.
We'll see how many we have because we usually have about 30 some people, 20 to 30 people with kids.
They're cheap enough. We just need to buy another 30.
Just make sure we have at least 30 before that day.
I'm assuming you want us all in best, so
Have to be.
let's just get the best that we need.
Just don't throw garbage at cars and wear a vest. But usually once we know how many people are there, we split up. And some people go to the very end of Salt Creek by Antelope and work their way up, while others work their way down. And then we've gone around the fire break too, around town one year. We had a trailer behind one of the trucks and everyone just kind of jumped out and threw trash in. And so that got cleaned up already. So this should be a pretty quick.
Yeah, I think it was 2 years ago, we split up into 3 groups. One started at Antelope, one started at McMurray, and one started at and McMurray and Antelope converged together, while the one on I just said it, West Winds,
Mhm.
they just went south till they hit McMurray, and that's kind of, it depends on how many people we have. We got a lot of people here tonight. Hopefully some of them will show up. But yeah, so that's how we did it in the years past. And then everybody meets back up and delivers their vests back, and then we all go home.
I think the longest it's taken is a couple hours.
Yeah, there's people there.
Yeah,
It's pretty quick.
so does that cover you? Is that what else? Okay,
For sure detail.
for now. Until next meeting. Right on. Anything for Parks and Rec?
That was awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Oh yes, thank you. I forgot to mention that part. Thank you for setting that up. Thank you for all those who volunteered. It was a lot of fun. It was always fun to see the kids, act like little baby sharks. Go after each other with eggs and candy.
So many eggs, they're getting picky, and I'm like, take the candy.
Right.
Take it all.
There was well over 2,000 eggs. Yeah, so that was funny. That was a lot of eggs.
There was a young man from our church that I saw. He didn't apparently have the foresight or forethought to bring a bag, so he just tucked his shirt in. And he was literally running out there because there was no one in the last section. The last section is the oldest kids, high school kids, and he's literally over there just. And by the time he was done, he looked like this. It was a good show.
That's pretty clever.
It was actually.
Not even a second.
You have to tell Brett that this kid is quite intelligent. So good Johnny on the spot, man. Anyway, okay, that covers you. Anything for? No,
I'm good.
Mr. Hume, do you want to say anything? Or are you just here for the?
What letting? I have 2 things. Neither one, well, one kind of is related to the emergency prep, emergency ops. And the first part of it is the reactor or the manufacturing facility. We'll get into that in a bit. But I got a voyeurism right there. I don't remember what else I was going to talk about. Oh, I'm still working on getting reunification templates and evacuation templates and things like that put together. And then once I get them, we'll all look at them and get them to Callie to make copies. It's not a major thing, but that's something we do need to do. We also probably need to get you guys to vote on something to get this officially recognized so that we can maybe start looking for some grants, maybe, because everything I've seen said that if you're going to apply for a grant, like I found 2 or 3 in Wyoming, that to apply for them, we have to have a formalized emergency plan. And one says we have to have an emergency plan, a fire department, and a police department. So we're kind of out on that one for now.
I mean, can we kind of use the angle of the sheriff's department? No? Okay. It's worth a try. Okay. Well, if you can get us the grants and email that to us so we all have a chance to review it.
Okay.
And then we can, a resolution easy to do. That's no biggie at all.
Yeah. And then once you approve it, we can go back and change it and et cetera, can't we? I mean, it's not like an HOA document that you can never change.
I mean, what do you mean by change it?
If we want to add to it as we're going along, or
I mean,
If they want to change it, once it's approved, they can.
yeah,
It depends on how.
the
it's-
resolution basically would just be for you to be allowed to move forward with it.
Okay.
And so you can make changes as you go along. You just want to obviously check with me. I can pass it along to council.
Okay.
So that would be the simple answer to that. Yeah.
Okay, and I'd like to get in when we start talking about the nuclear stuff.
I'm sure that's why everybody's hearing it. So.
You think?
Okay, cool. Well, that brings us to petitions and public comment. Oh, yes, I heard you. Did you say something?
Oh, no, sir.
Okay, all right. But
I was just having a conversation with Justin.
oh, gotcha. Okay, so that brings us to petitions and public comment. We got quite a few folks here tonight. So we've had issues in the past where our minutes have kind of gotten a little wonky because people aren't coming up to the podium. So if you are going to do petitions and public comment, you need to come to the podium, state your name, state where you're from, and then you can, give a grievance or whatever it may be. And so, and if a lot of people are going to come up, then we'll need to limit the time so that everyone has a chance to speak. So with that being said, now everyone knows the rules. Petitions and public comment. Is there anyone that would like to have a petition or public comment? Yes, Mr. Alman, you had your hand up first.
And that is a microphone on the podium there. Okay.
I'm just playing with it.
Okay. No, you're good.
Mr. Mayor and Board of Bar None, thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. My name is Bill Alaman. I'm the representative of House District 58, which covers Edgerton, Midwest, Bar None, North Casper, and around the airport. Over the last year, I have felt like a mushroom, kept in the dark and fed crap over this proposed manufacturing and hazardous nuclear dump to be located in my district. I started hearing about this proposed plan in the House chambers in late February. Several legislators, county commissioners, city officials, and private citizens had already been working on it for months and months before I even knew about it. There was little to no transparency to me or the people of my district, House District 58. I wonder why. We are putting the cart ahead of the horse in even talking about 25 million hard-earned tax dollars given to a company who plans to store nuclear waste in Wyoming. Today, the state of Wyoming does not allow any storage of nuclear waste unless it was spent on the site of disposal. This is from the Wyoming Constitution. This is Article 16, Section 6. And I lost it. Loan of credit, donations prohibited, work of internal improvements. Neither the state nor any county, city, township, town, school district, or any other political subdivision shall be able to loan or give its credit or make donations to any aid of any individual, association, or corporation except for necessity support for the poor. That's in our Constitution. There were two bills introduced into the legislature this past session. One was HB 16, which died before it even went anywhere. The other was SF 186. It also died in the House Minerals Committee with a 5-3 vote. Folks, this was a bad bill. Some points to this bill was, this is Section D, the provisions of the Industrial Development Information and Siting Act 3512-101 through 3512-119 shall apply only to the extent that those provisions do not interfere with contradict or duplicate any requirements of the United States nuclear regulatory system. But this means, bar none, Natrona County and the state of Wyoming will have given up their sovereignty. We will have no say as to what will happen in bar none. The state won't, the county won't, and bar none sure won't. Only the NRC will have all future says. And then we go to line F. Any spent nuclear fuel in storage at an installation shall remain the property of the advanced nuclear reactor manufacturer until the spent nuclear fuel is transferred to permanent storage. Right now in the United States, there is no permanent storage. And what the word permanent means is what happens if this company goes bankrupt? Who owns that fuel? Does bar none own it? Does Natrona County own it? Or does Wyoming own it? It's said that the Nuclear Regulatory Commission owns it. But we've all dealt with the federal government on quite a few things. So we're not sure who actually will own it. Also, House Bill 11 did pass. I voted for this bill. It exempts all manufacturing, machinery, and services from paying sales and service taxes. So where is this big cash cow I keep hearing about? It's not there because there's going to be very few taxes paid. I have been receiving many calls from bar none, and probably 90% have been against, not the manufacturing, but the storage of nuclear waste in our backyards. Several days ago, I had 2 calls within a half hour from 2 different gentlemen telling me that if this happens, they will be selling their homes and leave bar none. What will this do to our home prices? I am commissioning a poll, and hope everybody hears this. I am commissioning a poll that will be done in my district on what people think of this plan. And it will go throughout all of HD 58. If you receive this poll, please answer it. Also, I plan, starting in May, to have a town hall meeting every month. I will advertise them the best I can. And I want it known that Radiant Nuclear is helping me with these expenses. They also want to know. So in conclusion, there are many things I like about this project. However, I think we need to slow down, think about it, and do it right if we're going to do it at all. Pass good laws and do things right for the protection of our citizens in our town. I hope this body will listen to the people, whether they are for or against it. These are the people who has put their trust in you and me. If there is any questions, I'll entertain them.
When is that poll supposed to go out?
I just signed it this morning. And the deal I have made with Radiant, they're not going to be my questions. They're not going to be Radiant's questions. They're going to be a combination. We're going to work on the questions together so it's not skewed one way or the other. Because I want the people to have the right ideas of what we're trying to do.
Is this via telephone?
No, it'll be over your text.
Okay.
It'll be a text message.
Okay.
And what I was told, we will have 5 questions.
Okay.
4 of them will be mine, 1 will be Radiant's.
On that manufacturing exemption, is the exemption on the sales tax that the manufacturer pays for the materials they need, that once it's put together and out their door, do they collect sales tax on their sale?
This is my opinion only. It is not the end use, so I doubt Radiant will pay taxes on the the supplies that they bring in to build this stuff. And I did the math on this, and it is these generators are going to sell for around $30,000 or 30 million. I'm sorry, 30 million. Hey, I'll take 5. They're going to sell for around $30 million. I did the math on that. That's 1.2 million bucks sales tax. Got one small problem though. Most of them are being sold to the armed forces, which pays no sales taxes. And I'm having a hard time with all these tax exemptions and no sales tax from the military. I'm having a hard time seeing how this is really going to benefit and how we're ever going to pay through the taxes of Radiant, how this $25 million is ever going to get paid back. I think it's going to take a long time. And I have had calls from very, very concerned people. And I know the people who are for it's probably not calling me, only the people who are very against it. And that's why I'm wanting to do this poll.
Any other questions for Representative Allen?
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Mr. Hume. Please.
All right, now I can get into the second part of it. My name is Ken Hume. I live on Zuni Trail. I am also kind of the acting emergency operations center guy for the town. And I went to the meeting this afternoon down at the courthouse. So I've seen all you guys before. And I am not opposed to this. I lean very strongly toward it being a good thing, but there are some things we have to keep in mind. One of them, since Sonny's getting ready to run off on a call and I hear the trucks going, we need to make sure that bar none gets its piece of the pie. Okay, this is done in Natrona County. I want to make sure that we're not the stepchildren that don't get their slice of the pie. So that's the big thing. And something else I want to say before everybody here gets all up in arms with these guys, I didn't see any of your faces today down at the council meeting. If I missed you, I apologize. But, well, yeah, Bill, you don't count. And these guys don't count.
Now you missed me.
Oh, were you there?
Yeah.
Okay. I was sitting back in the very back corner. But we need to keep in mind that our guys have almost no say in this. They can put pressure on the county council or on the county commission, but you need to sit down and send an email, send a letter, go knock on doors of your county commissioners and tell them what you think about this. That's all I got. Thanks, sir. Sirs.
But not your representative.
And I was going to say, and your representative. We got his personal phone number if you like.
I welcome all calls.
Any other petitions of public comment? Yes. Right. He's got you by have a second.
I'll try not to take too long. I'm Devin Olson. I'm a local resident. I live in Houma Hills. It's going to be about 5 miles from the proposed location. So that's about my connection to this. I'm roughly a proponent of this project with some caveats. I have some concerns about the grants, of course. I think everything should be done on private funding. I guess I'd just like to, speak a little bit about how much I've nerded out over the technology that they're using. There's an awful lot of redundancies in the way that they're designing these reactors. I'm just a layman. I'm not like a nuclear expert, but everything from what I've read makes me pretty confident having this near my home and around my family. So I'm comfortable with the technology you guys are using. Just a quick little defense of my own school of thought for Mr. Bill. There's a little bit of a talk about the benefit, I guess, of getting tax dollars out of these guys. And I hate to see any tax revenue that is taken go into the feds and not the locals. But I just would like to remind people that the benefit from economic activity comes from free market interaction. When we see states gain a lot of tax revenue, I don't tend to think they use it very well. Look to our neighbors to the south and what they've done with all the money they got off marijuana, and see how they're doing. So I just would like to, I guess, put the word out that the idea of additional state taxes and all that might not be the benefit you're thinking it is. I think putting that money in the free market is probably where it best belongs. And that's about what I got. Thank you guys.
Devin is one of my researchers, and because he does a great job.
He's a smart guy.
Yes.
I saw your hand, sir. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Councilman. My name is Brian Kleins. I live right here in Barnum on Inca Trail. I have a couple concerns with this. A few years back, I had an idea to bring a business to this area that would bring in the potential at full maximum running capacity, millions of dollars a year into the Casper, into county and Barnum. Had several meetings with the city of Casper. I met with our mayor then, Mr. Ford, and there's a couple people in this room that know this story. And it was a private business in which I fronted it as a private business. But I was looking for money to help me with infrastructure and stuff like that. And I was turned down by every entity stating that I was a private business and I needed to pay for that myself, that there was no money in the budget anywhere for this. And then I'm not saying anything against Radiant. I'm not against it. I'm not for it. I'm trying to keep an open mind about it. But my concern is, if just a couple years ago, there wasn't any money in the budgets for my business that was going at maximum potential, would employ 200 to 300 people. And it was a $10 million project to bring a indoor shooting range, archery range, and indoor rifle range to the area. And I wanted it right here in Casper because Casper was centrally located. And I was leaning more toward the archery side of it because a lot of people don't understand the archery side of it. There's a big national shoot for the world championship every year in Las Vegas. 4,000 people shoot in that event. When they travel to those events, they bring their wives, their children, their family, and it brings other income besides the event into Casper. You're looking at restaurants, motels, tourism, fishing on the Platte River. This had the potential to bring a lot of money into Natrona County. And everybody I talked to, from Advanced Casper to the city to bar none, they were interested in the idea, but it was a private business and there was no funding. But now we're 3 or 4 years down the road, and all of a sudden we've got a company coming in that says, hey, I've got a government contract, and now we've got a $25 million budget that we can apply for. That makes no sense to me. Where's that money coming from? It's coming from the taxpayers of this state, of this county, of this community. There's other avenues, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not putting Radiant down for what they're trying to do. I think their technology is great, but I don't know if this is the right time for this particular event to come to our county. I don't think we're set up for it. My biggest concerns is we're talking nuclear waste stored right here in our backyards. Who's going to pay for the additional equipment that we need for our first responders, our fire department? Who's going to pay for the training? If, let's say there is an accident and some of our first responders are taken out, who's going to support their families? A few years ago, I was hurt in the oil field and I was put on workers' comp. Well, let me tell you, workers' comp pays 50% of your income. It's illegal. It's unlawful to sue your employer for lost wages or any kind of backup. So who's going to support the families if they lose loved ones in an accident or something out there. And frankly, I don't see any incentives for Bar None or the county through this. I agree with Bill. We hear cash cow, but where's the cash cow? Where's the profits coming from? There's nothing being said, and I feel I didn't learn about this until about 3 weeks ago. I'm an over the road truck driver. I'm not home very much. My wife keeps me pretty well informed about what's going on, but I didn't hear anything about this until about 3 weeks ago. And to come and find out that there's been, I guess, phone and meetings since last April and in-person meetings since last July. My representative didn't find out about it until mid-February in the third week of the session. So I think there's not a whole lot of transparency in this project. And I understand because my idea was stolen from me. We all know that a certain representative is running with this indoor shooting range now all over the state. And all of a sudden there's all kinds of money for him to have to do this also. But I'm not against you. But there are a lot of unanswered questions, a lot of views that we need to look at, and a lot of corners that we need to look into before we say, yeah, I'm on board with this. I'm leaning toward the production side of this, but what scares me is the nuclear storage. What I've found online, and I'm sure the company that's building your energy source, I'm pretty sure they're out of Virginia and Tennessee.
Likely.
Yeah. So what I'm finding online, it's a pretty safe thing. There's not a whole lot of hazards to it, but it's a man-made thing. And we all know that anything man-made doesn't last forever. It's not foolproof. Accidents will happen, but who's going to be responsible for those accidents? That's all I have. Thank you for allowing me.
Yes, in the back. Yep, you got your hand raised. I'm looking right at you.
I don't have my glasses. Okay, Jennifer Hopkins, Mandan. And yeah, so I'm on the fence about it. I just don't think I have enough information on it. And I did speak to the good employee of Radiant earlier today and got some more information. And he's going to get me some more information later about the technology from 1960, right? So, so my question for you all is, does Advanced Casper need your approval to apply for this grant? And if not, why is this being discussed here tonight? Does anyone have that answer? Maybe you do.
State the question again.
Okay. Does Advanced Casper need your approval to apply for this grant? And if not, why is this being discussed at tonight's meeting?
No, they do not, because this is going through the Wyoming Business Council. So that's completely outside of us, but they will need permitting and things of that, which has come through the town. So yes, we do have say in some of this at least.
Okay. And I just want to add on to Mr. Alamon's comment about people leaving. He knows of 2 people. I know of 1 that will leave. And so how will our property, our value of our property, it's possible it could crash for a little bit, go down, and it's possible it could come back up, but we don't know that. And another thing is that we don't know about the spent fuel, how that will affect us later, because that won't be until 2033 when they will start storing that. So we don't know the ultimate outcome of that. So I've been here 20 years. I planned on being here at least 80, so a little bit longer. So till my kids move in and kick me out. So, but I think a lot of feeling, and I remember when Cavalier was here and he was with his company and pitching about changes, even building this building and the changes to the roads, how the old timers of Bar None were just like, no, we're here for a reason. We want to be left alone. This is why we're here. And so that's when everyone went ahead with that anyways. And so I just feel like I have to say that because I remember how they felt like this was just, everything was just happening to them and they didn't have any say anymore. And I guess not being the old timer, bar none, but the new old timer, I'm kind of feeling the same way. Things are just happening behind our backs or just happening so fast without these real concrete answers before we have a chance to catch our breath. So if we could just slow down, really think about this, and if we are gifted land and then we annex that into bar none, how does that look in the future to the federal government and all of those things? So so I'm just on the fence, a lot of questions, and thank you for letting me speak tonight.
Yes, thank you. I think, I think a lot of people have questions about, this nuclear facility and how safe it is, how dangerous it is, the storage of nuclear of nuclear waste, and what about the radiation they're bringing in, and are we going to benefit from this? I mean, like, there's 1,000 questions there, and all of them are good questions. And we have a representative here from Radiant who would be more than willing to answer, I'm sure, any of your questions. And I'm not saying take my word for this, but it's kind of funny because I don't believe in coincidences. Before this whole Radiant thing kicked off, I went on like a 3-week YouTube binge of watching nothing about nuclear reactors and how they operate, how they function, why they fail, why they don't fail, why they're actually probably one of the safest forms of energy in the world. They should be the wave of the future. And I went on this binge, and then all of a sudden Radiant happened. So I don't believe in coincidences. But these are all valid questions. I encourage everyone that has concerns, please do come and talk to council. And I want you to. But also talk to Radiant and ask them and talk to them and see what they say so that they can calm any fears possibly that you have and maybe put you on their side. Or maybe it won't. Maybe you'll be against them completely. I don't know. But at least, talk to them, pick their brain, question them. As far as I've dealt with these men, I found out about this in January. I think it was January, February. I don't remember. I don't remember the first time we met. But it was about 2 months ago, and they have been completely transparent with me. I've been to solar farm meetings. I've been to wind farm meetings, and nothing against them, but most of those guys are salesmen, and they don't know what they're talking about. This is the first time I've ever interacted with a company that is trying to come in to do something that they actually know what they're talking about, and they are intelligent and they're open. So it's a new experience for me. So anyway, with that being said, I believe, did you have your hand up? No. Okay. Yes, please.
Mr. Mayor, Justin Farley, 3511 Carmel, live in Casper. Just a couple of quick points of clarity. The grant application is constitutional questions. The grant application is going through the Economic Development Joint Powers Board, not through Advanced Casper. We facilitate that and help with the application. That's our job to do that. But constitutionally, it needs to go through a Joint Powers Board because we cannot hand money to a particular company. I will also say that every one of our representatives in Natrona County, state level, local level, county level, we're all invited to every one of our in January when we met at the Ribbon Chop House. So yeah. Fair is probably in the junk mail or what, maybe it didn't get into your inbox, but we absolutely made everybody aware of the meetings that were going on. They were always public. There was not any closed door, anything. And I just those 2 points of clarity. So.
Okay, thank you.
Can I respond to that?
Sure. Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. the money comes from the state. It ends up at Radiant. So that is state money going to the company, whether it's through infrastructure or anything. So this is rude, but it's just going through a shell company. But it's coming from the state and ending up in donation to Radiant. That's what I have.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. All right. Let's.
Pat's like that.
No,
We're gonna cut
no,
that.
hang on a second, because this does have rules.
Yeah.
And having a series of
It's
points
not
and counterpoint, I would have waved you off if I'd had time, violates the rules, and this will turn into, I mean, you have the right to waive them, but
Yeah.
you,
Let's, if you guys want to discuss that, you can discuss it later, but yeah, in the back.
Good evening, Council. Rosemary Savon, the Shonen County resident. Just to follow up, did everybody receive my email?
We did.
Yes.
Okay. And question. Oh, for people that may not be aware, this was discussed at the county commission this morning. I don't know if you guys got a website, but you might put that up on your website from 2:45, the work session today, until 5:30, the regular meeting. It was kind of a discussion throughout. I asked a bunch of questions if people want to listen and see how our commission is answering or not.
Okay.
Thank you kindly.
I'll get with Emily and figure out how to build that out on there.
Okay. Thank you. Any other petitions or public comment? Going once. Yeah, yes, if you want to, please. Thank you.
Matt Wilson, representative of Radiant Industries, 500 Briarwood Drive, Fullerton, California. But I think that's an important piece because I'll raise my hand again. Radiant is interested in coming to this specific community, and I'm not an active member of the community, but I empathize with all these questions. I think they're the right questions. So again, my goal isn't to change everyone's mind tonight, but I continue to emphasize we are trying to make ourselves as available as possible to have good conversations so that you all can have the information you need, feel comfortable with what we're trying to accomplish. I'm going to share a story to try to help folks understand on the questions around is Radiant being transparent. So as mentioned, I've not met with the fire chief for bar none. So let me walk you through a little story of how we've navigated fire security and around here. So again, not being from Natrona County, I thought the best first place to start was Casper Fire. Thought it'd be the biggest fire department in the area and a really good place to help them understand what is Radiant trying to do in the general area. They said, well, actually, you're in Natrona County, so great. Love to understand what you're doing. You need to go to Natrona County Fire Department. So again, I emphasize I had a meeting today with the Natrona County Fire Department. And they today said, well, this is great. We are going to be a part of this, but actually you need to meet with the Bar None fire chief. So again, eventually we got there. I am not an expert in Wyoming politics, but I've learned there's a lot of people to talk to. So did we go in the exact right order that maybe certain folks wanted us to? We did not, most likely. Have we tried our hardest and have we learned a lot? Absolutely. So call it what you may. If it looks and feels certain people like we haven't been transparent, that has not been our goal. Our goal has been trying to get our message out to as many people as possible. It proves that's really hard. Again, we are an 80-person startup. 95% of the company is focused on turning on our prototype next year. When we're talking about the factory, everything else, none of that happens if we don't have a successful demonstration in the first half of 2026.
So Matt, I mean, in your defense, I get there were conversations way last year, but I would assume you were on a fact-finding mission.
Correct.
Because you were considering other portions of the country.
Yes.
So you probably weren't ready to go full scale if we wanted to put it here.
Correct.
In your defense, whatever legislators you talked to should have been up to them to talk to their constituents. Yeah, maybe, but we get it. You kicked off earlier this year because you're pretty hard set on being here, so we appreciate
Exactly.
your accessibility. You've been very accessible.
And Mayor, City Council, we started the siting process April 2024. When I say we started, that's 10 plus states. We looked at over close to 100 sites. Our very, very, very first visit to Natrona County was August of last year. That's just what's in and around this area. We barely even knew what sites to look at that point. Now that developed quite a bit over the fall and winter, but we didn't have Natrona County, specifically just north of Bar None, on our short list until very, very late last year. So when people were saying, well, I didn't hear about this till January, February, well, we didn't know. We had a board meeting. We didn't have this specific location as our top option until 2025. And so when people were saying, I did not hear till January, February, well, you were probably one of the first people to hear about it if you were in January or February. So that's just in general on the transparency. The summary is we're trying our hardest, and we are going at avenues that make the most sense to us. Raise my hand. I'll make sure if you all can help too. Make sure you have Radiant's contact information. We take whatever input we get, and we've been very responsive with folks that have engaged with us today.
In an indirect way to help our representative, Bill Hellman, in his little debate we have here, because I'm not a fan of Wyoming Business Council. We pick winners and losers. I was involved in the discussions of what happened with this gentleman's shooting facility. That is now a state issue, but they took it. So let me ask you.
Yeah.
If we get the debate that just happened there, the money cannot go directly to you. But when it goes and develops that land in front of, that easement that you give, does that benefit you financially through valuation of your property and the fact that you don't have to dole out the money?
I don't know about the valuation of the property, but if these grant funds don't go to pulling utilities, Radiant will need to. So direct dollars Radiant will need to spend. There will be more. Talking about millions of dollars more, but again, the total capitalization of our factory, we're expecting closer to the $200+ million range. So that's why I'm saying, we are following along this process, and there's a conversation to be had. People have opinions on this Wyoming Business Council grant and application. Radiant is intending to go here regardless of where that conversation goes.
Thank you.
I have one or two other quick points. I'll make it quick. So security training. I'll just emphasize. I use fire as an example, but our very first Nuclear Regulatory Commission licensing is for nuclear material handling, and a big piece of that is our security plan. And so we are actively working through our security plan. That's why we're met with the Toronto County Sheriff today. I've been meeting with various fire departments. It's early discussions. We're going to look for their feedback and input and make them part of the plan as we're building and ready to submit those to the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. So it's a big piece of this entire program. Security and safety is number one priority for you. And then I don't have a crystal ball, so I can't. It's really hard to talk about the housing discussion, especially when folks are saying I'm going to leave if this project comes. What I can say, I'll just reemphasize, none of those people have come to talk to Radiant. I can educate and just help folks make sure they have the most information as possible to make that final decision. Day one, we're expecting 70 to 75 jobs at scale of 250. Those people need homes. If you're at town hall, you heard I'm top of the list of folks at Radiant to come here. I've really enjoyed getting to know folks in Bar None. I met Jennifer earlier today as an example, and this is a place I'm excited to call home as well. So just open to conversations, want to help where I can.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Mayor, City Council, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Could I ask him a quick question real quick?
You can let's leave that till after. Just get offline with the master council or out in the hallway, okay? Yes.
Jerry Boyer on Omaha Trail here in Vernon. I wasn't planning to comment, but I did want to say that early on in finding out about Radiant, the first concern I had was definitely property values. And I was thinking about that because it's been mentioned again tonight. So I started actually doing some of my own independent research, honestly expecting to find information that maybe in other locations where they've put in a nuclear facility of any kind near a host community to see like if it had a negative impact on those property values. But so far, what I'm finding is actually generally they go up. I'm still early in that research. As I compile that, I would be happy to share it. I encourage everyone to research that because I do think that's like one of the big concerns a lot of us thought of first, other than the safety aspect. So, you know, I don't think like a lot of people here, I don't know if I can be like 100%, yeah, I'm for this, but I will say definitely as I'm learning about the nuclear technology too, I think the technology is great. I don't think that we are in danger of having it close by to us. But I think the property values is one of those big questions. So I encourage everyone to look into those studies. And you will have to do some digging, which is why I'm not finished yet, because you'll need studies that show whether it's like in the US, a lot of them are being done in Europe where nuclear is actually a little bit more advanced than us. And also whether or not that includes whether it's just a plant or if it's manufacturing or if it's storage. So anyway, that's all I have.
How long do you think it would take for you to compile all that information?
I was actually hoping to get it all put together throughout this week. I'm kind of geeking out on this. I think it was Devin came up and now he's been researching all the technology and I've started looking at kind of the social economic aspects of it. And it's pretty interesting and I think it could be really educational. And like I said, independent of Radiant, I'm looking at this information myself, finding studies.
While you're looking at the information, if you come across, because I've seen it in the past with mining operations, and I would assume that it's pretty much the same with a large manufacturing facility. The service industry in that community can take it's say 2 to 3 more employees to service those employees. So there's a snowball effect to the economy.
Well, and again, I think too, there's definitely some valid concerns that need to be ironed out. And I don't think what is being proposed is perfect because the nuclear industry in the United States isn't perfect. The big one being that there isn't a permanent storage solution for spent fuel. That's obviously something that will be discussed further. But in terms of economic impact, I think it's kind of disappointing to find, we may not get revenue in the way that we hope to in Barnum, especially since the location is actually outside of Barnum. But again, having thriving business and an economy does indirectly benefit everyone. Like I am pro-business. This is an American company with American investors. And nuclear is, like, I really feel like it's the way of the future. And there is a good opportunity here for diversity and for good paying jobs. So as someone who has teenagers that are coming up on adulthood, like I'm kind of thinking, what kind of jobs are they going to have? Because while I'm all for oil and ranching and coal and all that, and that's paying our bills, my kids may or may not be interested in the oil industry. And having some diversity, I think, would be a good thing. One of the big problems that we hear about a lot in the state of Wyoming is that all our young people leave. And I think bringing some new technology that they're interested in could help change that. So that's my 2 cents.
You guys reached out to our trades programs in the school. Because that's where we're having the problem in our state is, but being a mistake because we lost focus that we're a blue collar state. And we need to turn that ship around with the trades program. And it may take you bigger manufacturing facilities to help facilitate that through our public school system.
Would you be able to come back to council next session, meeting, whatever, and have something ready? I hope to.
Right, I see that. Thank you so much.
I can comment on Dan's comment.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, we got to keep it within.
Yeah, it'll be 30 seconds. We've had multiple conversations with Casper College. There are going to be training programs involved. Going back to what's the future of this specific community look like? It's not just current training programs, but Radiant is sponsoring a nuclear night at the Science Zone May 8th. So I'll call that out. Starts with the younger children as well, where help them understand what is nuclear, what is radiation, how do you build a reactor, get them excited about this type of technology. So folks interested, especially with kids, I encourage you all to attend that at the Science Zone May 8th.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Any other petitions or public comment? Going once,
Can I?
going twice. We have a council business section.
Oh, okay.
Sold. No more petitions or public comment. Look at you, Mr. Ficken. You are first up on council business. Your name's right there.
No, it's not. Quick question. The grant would have to be repaid, right?
It's a grant, it's not.
Not repaid, but there's stipulations like you have to provide jobs and that kind of thing.
There is a portion of it that is recaptured at the state level, but the metrics that again, business council uses, this is not our deal, right? The business council uses that economic development as recapture for the community. So all that infrastructure, any new development, the new jobs, those are the matrix that they use to on paper basically show that grant had more than the impact that they gave.
Because I'll speak for myself. I've had a family member that has utilized this to open one of his businesses, and he provided a couple hundred jobs in the county as a repayment of that. And it was a private entity. It was an oil and gas thing, and he was able to do this without having to get investors and sell equity in his company to do this. And it worked out very well because he provided a lot of jobs by doing that. So it's not, the money is recouped in one way or another, you hope. The spent fuel storage, is it stored in the same building it's removed from the reactor? Or is it removed from the reactor and then stored in another building on site? So just saying, in theory, could Radiant buy property that is out in the middle of nowhere, Wyoming, and put it there instead of 10 miles from the nearest home? You can just thumbs up.
Yeah, you can just come up here.
It'd be fast. Sorry.
Yeah, that'll be super quick. So pull the used core out, put a new core in. That used core goes into a spent fuel canister that's stored on site. So it'll be stored in an open concrete pad. So it's stored outside the facility. So your ask of could it be stored 10 miles, 100 miles, 500 miles down the road? The short answer is yes.
But is that a whole other problem transporting it to another?
Changes our licensing.
Okay.
It's more expensive. So our preference is to keep it all in one facility.
Okay.
And
all nuclear facilities in the or nuclear power plants, I don't know about manufacturing plants, but all nuclear power plants store their radiation
where it's spent.
So it's on site with them. And I have some concerns about this, but when it comes to like radioactive nuclear waste storage, like everybody has this idea in their mind. Not everyone, I shouldn't say that. Some people have this idea in their mind of like Homer Simpson or of Chernobyl, and that is not what this is at all. This is nuclear waste is spent nuclear fuel. It's spent, right? So it's not nearly as radioactive. All right, I find it kind of funny because the stuff that they're putting into the radioactive cores is way more radioactive than what they're getting back out whenever it comes back to them. They put it into a lead lined cask, surrounded with like a foot of concrete, and it sits there. And the radioactive decay rate on it is like, I think within the first few years, it's almost inert. So it's not as dangerous as people think it is. It's really not. And and these casks, they take these casks and they drop them off of bridges. They hit them with trains. They shoot them. They do just about every crazy thing you can think of to try to penetrate these things to make sure that they're safe, because everybody knows that if you do have a radioactive spill, well, that's going to be around a while. And so everybody's worried about that, specifically the NRC. So they are really super safe with these things. And there are communities that live literally right next to nuclear power plants and they just go to work and commute like 5 minutes. So this isn't like, we're not reinventing the wheel here. Does that mean I'm 100% for it? No, I do have a little bit of concern, and I want to move forward cautiously and be open and fair about this. But I also feel like Radiant gets a shot too, because they're trying to do something good here. I feel like, I don't think they're trying to be the bad guy or malicious. I think they're trying to bring American jobs to an American town for our military and for anyone else who wants to buy one of these things. I mean, it's going to be for the oil industry. It's going to be for the Department of Defense. It's going to be for whoever. So it's not, I think it could be a good thing.
Well, I'm not saying I'm worried about it. I'm just saying, like, for the peace of mind for some people that might be their concern is that aspect. As far as like the tax revenue, the sales tax, that kind of thing, I personally, as a member of council, I want to see our town develop. I'm less concerned about recouping sales tax revenue off something like that than I am getting more businesses to move into bar none. If a business like Radiance can come in, any business, I don't care if it's Radiant, anybody else, and can help develop an area of bar none to help make it more attractive for other businesses to move in, I am for that. It just so happens that it's Radiant that's doing it. So we got to be safe and we got to be smart about how we're doing that. But the fact that Advanced Casper and the fact that the business council and everybody is they're wanting to help develop it out here, it is what it is. I'm not savvy enough about that to have a super strong opinion. I do not like taxpayer money paying for that necessarily, but if it brings more businesses here that will generate revenue for this town and for the state, more jobs to our community, more jobs to the state, that will as well. I'm looking at 10 years from now, not what's happening right now over the next year. I want to see where does this lead us 5-10 years from now in our community, in our town. We need more businesses here, not more industrial businesses. We need a grocery store. We need a gas station further out. We need things that will support our community. And I think we've got to have an open mind to how to do that. Our town, we're starting budget session right now. Our town doesn't have a lot of revenue. You compare it to Mills and Evansville and these other small towns that have huge businesses in those towns. They have a lot of revenue to play with. We don't. We are a rooftop community and we have people that live here and not a lot of businesses. And we do need to bring more businesses. We need to start planning for a financial future for our community that isn't based off of just property taxes. It's based off of business revenue. And how do we do that? How do we bring businesses in that don't want to have to pay millions on curb and gutter and renovating? This is how we do that, I think. Sorry. That's all.
Good, man. Cool. All right. So first item of discussion is NextEra Energy. This is the solar project that's going out west of town. I met with one of their representatives, and I got to be honest. I've dealt with Radiant. I've dealt with backup generators, meatpacking facilities, and just about everything else. And I don't remember exactly what all we talked about. So that being said, I know construction is beginning in May of 2026. So they are going to start moving forward with it. And one of the things is that they. I don't know if they went before the ISC and did this or requested a variance on it. They're actually moving where the battery farm was. I don't know if you guys remember where the battery farm was going, but if you took a direct line off of street now, I think it was Palomino, but if you took a direct line off of it, it was straight west of town. And now they're actually moving it further south down by the substation, so it's not going to be near town. Which is good because I brought up the concern with the guy and he was like, no, it's completely safe. And I'm like looking at YouTube videos of cars catching on fire. And I'm like, okay, sure. But no, the way they're designed, they actually are really safe. The battery compartments they're designed that if they do catch fire, that they're supposed to be compartmentalized and they won't, you know, burn the whole battery farm down. But that's going further south, and there are talks about them extending up further, which once again they'd have to go to the industrial siting committee, but they're going to go up further north with the amount of panels they're doing, and actually that would extend past where West Winds is. So I'm thinking that because the county has talked about for quite a while of extending West Winds all the way out to the airport, I'm wondering if they're going to get challenged on that one. So anyway, that's where that is. Is there any questions about that? No? Okay. I went out to, what's the name of the company? Mayweather. Merriweather. So I went out to a meat packing facility called Merriweather Meats or whatever it is, and they're located out in Riverton. They're interested. They're not sold on it yet, but they're interested in buying the CADA building. That's the closest industrial warehouse looking building on Tonkawa. The brown one that's the closest to town. They're interested in buying that and setting up their facility there. I went and toured because, you know, obviously having a meat packing facility that close to town is concerning. And so I went and toured their facility, and I came away actually really impressed with their operation. Extremely clean. I was really impressed with how they operated. The workers were professional. Their supervisors were professional. Did come away with some concerns though. One of the concerns is when they bring in the cattle, they do, you know, cows poop, and so that creates a lot of, you know, smell. And the other one is that now they take out they have a lot of waste product. Obviously, they're trying to get rid of that waste product and use 100% cow. But the waste product is usually fat and bone, and they leave that in a trailer that sits out for a day, and then, you know, at the end of the day they take to the dump. And my only concern with that would be if it's sitting out all day and it's cooking in 90-degree weather, what that's going to smell like. So I did have some concerns. I haven't talked to is she the CEO? She's just the owner.
Yeah, I'm not sure their structure.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I would assume.
I'll just call her the owner. Her name is Catherine. I haven't talked to her about my concerns yet, but those are some of the concerns I have. The other one is the truck traffic. The facility they're in right now is about half the size, or about a third the size of what they're looking at over here. And they're bringing in 50 head of cattle a week, which is roughly about, I forget how many truckloads. I think that's 2 truckloads a week. They're talking about 200 here, which is a lot of cow poop and a lot of traffic for cattle. So got some concerns that I would want to have addressed before we even, you know, get on board with anything like this. So, and yeah, so that's that. Any questions? Comments?
I'm heavily against it. That's all I'm going to say right now.
Second.
I want to bring businesses here and things like this here. It's way too close to town.
I agree.
Way too close.
I honestly think that if it was out on the edge of West Winds, I think it would be the perfect spot. But I think that's just a little bit. So, but I haven't talked to the owner yet, and maybe she'd be willing to work some stuff. I don't know. That being said, I'm putting the information out there. We can make decisions as we go forward on that. And, you know, I'm sure they would, because they're just still in what, you know, Radiant was in last August, which was just in the discovery phase right now.
Well, it's a nice building and it would be great for what they're wanting to do, but
yeah,
that's my opinion.
So anyway, last thing, backup generator for town hall. Like I said, it's been a busy couple of weeks, so I don't remember everything that I had told Callie to write down on the agenda. Ray, we were discussing this, and I don't remember where it went, where it fell off at, but They were offering us a diesel generator, a backup generator for the town hall, and it would be $45,000. And then I don't think I ever followed up with it. Or you didn't follow up with it. I'm gonna blame you, Ray.
This was.
No, this was like last week.
It came up months ago. It's the same one.
Same thing.
It's just,
the
it's just
same
now
one, but
available.
this is the-
It's now available.
It's now available. So they replaced it. It was down at the Department of Health. They replaced the diesel generator with a natural gas one, and now they're offering it from the town of Barnum for $45,000.
So all the $45,000 is basically a appraisal from Caterpillar, from Wyoming Machinery,
Right.
that says this is roughly what this is worth.
Right.
So I followed up with our electrical engineer. He said that to get that transported and installed at Town Hall, there's some question on the transfer switch. Talking to the contractor that's working on the new facility, he thinks that the transfer switch would come with it. If it doesn't, you'd be looking at somewhere in the $80,000 to $85,000 all-in cost to bring that to Town Hall. If it comes with the transfer switch, you could take maybe $10,000 to $15,000 off of that cost. So you'd be looking at, and that's if you get it for $45,000. So if the transfer switch is a part of it, you could be looking at something closer to $70,000. And that's what pouring a pad, paying to have it transported, installed, new electrical conduit wiring, all those different things that have to happen on the backside of the building. So that would be, and that's a rough cost estimate that, after you and I spoke, our electrical engineer gave that to us. So that's what you would be looking at.
Perfect.
In rough terms. And that's without negotiating any costs with the county.
I remember now because we were going to budget for it. That's where I was at. So I can remember that conversation now.
And we had discussed staging it too.
Yeah.
Like, I think it'd be a great investment, but we don't have to wire it in yet. We could get it, pour the pad, get it, and then we could budget to get the install done next year.
I kind of feel like if we're going to do it, might as well just go all the way. Because if you're going to pour the pad,
Yeah.
if you're going to do all that, the electrical is how much?
That's all very minor. That's
Yeah.
all.
The pad and the install is the main part.
Oh,
I would
absolutely.
assume. Okay.
So your
Other
pad-
than that switch or whatever it is. Okay.
Concrete's going to be your biggest expense.
Okay.
If we're going to go that route. If we were just going to stage it, then we would just buy everything and set it somewhere.
Okay.
And then do the concrete and the electrical all another year.
Gotcha.
Or if we're going to do it all at once, we just.
If we were to
not
do
it all at
this,
once, but if we were going to pour the pad, just put the whole thing in.
if we were to do this, going a new generator, this would be quadruple that cost. I would assume, for a new generator.
New generator and a new generator, I think they said was $85,000 in that quote.
It
And then,
says the current price for a new B200 from the factory is roughly $63,000.
okay, and then you're looking at the transfer switch. An automatic transfer switch is not cheap. You're, like I said, I think $10,000 to $15,000 for that switch. Then all the same.
I think we should follow and see if the transfer switch comes with it, because then that's a heck of a deal.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
The transfer switch was installed at the same time as the generator, so it's the same age, same number of hours on the switch. So, the county doesn't have a need for the generator, so they don't have a need for the transfer switch. So it would make sense that it would come with.
It would make sense.
Does anybody
Can you
else-
follow up and let me know or as soon as you find out? And I'll inform council. So that way we know if it's transfer switch. Anyway, is this something that council would be interested in?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Because we need to budget for it, so that can be part of our process as we go through budget. And I don't have anything else. Does anyone else have anything for Mr. Hume?
Just one thing, somebody, do you guys have a UPS at the fire station?
What?
Do you have a UPS at the fire station? Backup generator?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Okay.
Or I could get a nuke.
Anything
Yeah.
from council? No? Okay.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, everyone. It's impressive, right?
Yes, I thought I heard my name out there.